Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, where we are staring at the Marauder again. And this video is only kind of about the Marauder, or more specifically a specific thing on it. But we're not going to talk about this Marauder, we're going to talk about this one. This is the Siege Marauder, and this was made by my good friend Ninja, who, if you don't know who that is, he's done a lot of aesthetic stuff for the Nita campaign From the Depths. Whenever you whenever you find a Deepwater Guard house, like all the mimic shenanigans in there, that's pretty much him. It's pretty much all him, from what I recall, so he's good. He is good at what he does. And this Marauder is a little bit different. Like you can tell from the outside, there's a rangefinder up here, it's got a metal deck, the sides are plugged, there's no more simple weapons on it. And this Marauder has been converted to use what I and other people have started to call a DoomCRAM. As in a single cram system, as in just got the one firing piece, one barrel, that is very, very big, has a very high payload capacity, and just obliterates things in the face. And we shall demonstrate that right now. Is it gonna hit? It is. So that's immediately, yeah, 12% health taken off, quite nicely. So DoomCRAMs are something that's actually quite new to From the Depths. This kind of thing is only really possible after the big cram overhaul, because in the old days, cram cannons had quite severe diminishing returns for the kind of damage they could do. Anything past 10% was almost not worth it, because the difference between 1% and 10% was far, far greater than the difference between, say, 10 and 20%. And so, like most crams, if you're getting about 10% packing density, you were doing fine, and that would do the trick just fine at any gauge. Now, the way the crams pack and the way that their payload works is a little bit different. So you can use gauge concreters or payload compactors to greatly increase the amount of damage they do, and the health of the shell, importantly. So single-shot giant crams are now more viable in the meta, so to speak, than they have ever been. And so this is what this video is about, is just giant singular crams to contrast the, like, ridiculously, like, we're talking organ gun crams that I've shown off before. So let's get into it. Like, how big is a DoomCRAM? So what distinguishes a DoomCRAM from just a regular single cram? Well, the first thing is that, well, I guess the only real difference is that DoomCRAMs are big, and at what point you decide a cram has switched from regular to Doom is kind of subjective, but I would say that if, like, let's see here, if most of the cost of the craft is cram cannon, that's probably a DoomCRAM, because this thing is massive. And this is full gauge. Actually, let's see here. It doesn't actually have the fully required accuracy. Damn it, Ninja. Any case, this is a 2000mm shell. It has a firepower of about 113, which basically means it's equivalent to 113 small missiles per second in terms of the damage it does, so very, very strong. 24-second reload time, like 81,000 recoil, which is why this thing bucks backwards whenever it fires. So if it does this, you'll notice the whole thing scoots backwards a little bit. And Marauders aren't exactly huge, but they're not small either. It's 70 meters long, and that cram cannon just sent the thing into reverse. And what else can we talk about? Well, we can look here. The damage is probably the important thing. If we go here, wait for the thing to fully pack. Yeah, over 20,000 packing potential, I guess you'd call it. And kinetic damage with 24 AP is 118,000. Explosive damage is 102,000. EMP damage is 27,000. And 27 fragments, 13,000 damage each. So this is definitely a DoomCRAM. It is multiple flavors of Doom, in fact. And so, like, there's the main advantage to doing this, like, there's a few. Since CRAMs scale with size a lot better than they used to, you're getting a number of benefits out of this that you would not get if you, for instance, made, jammed multiple, CRAM guns into a tiny space. For one thing, more power per shot, like each shell does a lot better. The ammo deficiency does decrease a little bit, I tend to find, so because I think, and I'm not sure of this, there's kind of diminishing returns for ammo efficiency like the bigger CRAMs get, because if we go here and we look at how much ammo this thing uses per shot, you will see, where is it? This might be something you can only see on the firing piece. Ammo use, it's 5,000 ammunition per shot. It is not really cheap anymore. Where is this thing's ammo? Oh my goodness. Like, really, where is it? I can't actually see it. Oh, here it is. It's all the way at the back. All the way at the back, surrounded by wood. That's funny. So yeah, the ammo cost does go up the more you pack a shell. However, you do save a lot of materials on barrels. So I believe, coincidentally, the placeholder I have here is something I made earlier. This is a similar to the what should I call it? What should I call it? This is the kind of the super crap cram Tetris that I showed off in my last cram video. It's got that kind of dealio in here. And barrels are expensive. That's just how it goes. It's 20 per barrel. It's roughly about 20 materials per barrel. So if you go here and you count, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 130, 260 times 5 is over 1,000 materials just for the barrels of this thing. Meanwhile, a single giant cram only needs 1 barrel, and you actually save a lot of materials that way. It's interesting. The DoomCRAMs that I've made, they're a lot cheaper than I was expecting, simply because I'm used to building multi-barreled cram turrets, and just the more firing pieces you have, and the more barrels you have, the more the cost kind of goes up. And, the extra shell health does help quite a bit for getting through lambs. So where is the shell health? We need to go back in here, I think, to find it. There it is. So shell health is 180,000. So if we do this, and if we have something that has a decent lambs, probably not an amazing lambs, let's go here. Not that. Let's go here to the Alcazar. And we'll turn off the Alcazar's weapons, because that's not needed. And that gets straight through the lambs of the thing. And it's made a massive hole right through it. So let's see it do it again. The lambs on the Alcazar is actually reasonably strong. It'll take smaller cram shells out of the air quite easily. But a single cram shell with 180,000 health is a bit of a different story. You need a much bigger cram... Well, not cram system. You need a much bigger lambs in order to deal with a single shell like this. So once again, single system crams are more viable than they used to be. And one thing to note is that different pellets are more viable at different packing. So if we turn this guy off, and if we actually get rid of the Alcazar, spawn a new one, and here's another advantage. If you have multiple cram systems on one turret, and you use this menu, the automatic packer refit, it kind of messes with all of them, and you have to tweak them all again anyway, because it doesn't change the pellet symmetrically. If you only have one cram system, it's a lot easier to use this, simply because you're only affecting one cram system. So you can just hit apply to cannon, and that works fine. And in this case, we're gonna go 100% HE, which on paper it sounds really good. Let's see, what's that reload time is a little bit too much, so we're gonna go 35, so we're not here all day. A little bit less, let's go. 30, there's so much time we're saving here. 21.91, alright. So, looking at the statistics cropping up there, the explosive damage is a little bit ridiculous. It is over 100,000 already, and it's not even completely done. Might have to zoom in on that, future me, try not to forget. Alright, so 165,000 HE damage. Let's spawn in the Alcazar again, and you'll see for yourself how awesome this is. And kaboom. Now, that looked impressive, but that's because it hit a turret right here. Let's try it again. Whenever I've been making pure HE Doom guns, they always feel a little underwhelming. Like, they still do a lot of damage, but it just feels like they could, like, they're not as strong as the numbers seem to suggest. And there, once again, the game proved me wrong by flawlessly knocking off a turret and leaving a big hole. Damn it, from the depths. Actually, Alcazar is not the best thing to demonstrate this, so... let's go, where is it? Kingstead. Alright. So the Kingstead is a big armored lump. Now we have a pure HE Doom gun. Let's see how it does. It does okay. It puts a nice big hole in here, but watch what happens when I swap that out for fragmentation. So as I've mentioned before, Frag is actually better than HE for CRAMs at very high gauges and also at very high packing potential. So this is now set to 60 degrees, and you see the fragments are already a little bit ridiculous. So 50 fragments, and now they are at 157,000 damage per fragment, and there's 53 of them. Wait, no, that's 180. Let's set that to 60, just for contrast. Alright, so that's dropped it down to 100,000 damage per fragment, but it's in a much tighter cone. Spawn in the Kingstead again, and hopefully we'll see magic happen. So what you've just seen there is those fragments tearing right through the Kingstead. They've ripped almost along its entire length. This is why CRAM frag is actually better than HE. Look at this. They've gone every which way, and they've put lovely holes like right through the ship. This is almost straight to the middle. 2% health, knocked off, and you can see there they penetrate very, very deeply, simply because they have so much kinetic damage. So this frag actually works quite a bit better than HE at these very high packing densities. So when they're having a DoomCRAM, prioritize frag over HE. And also, look at that, it's like... what just happened? The thing just decided that this was too much and disabled it. I'm not sure what happened there. The scuttle settings might have been reached. Deacons bloody hell. Was not expecting. Do you see how strong this is? CRAM frag, man, it's amazing. So that fragmentation works really, really well for that. And you might be thinking, what happens if we go pure kinetic? Well, it's a little bit disappointing, not gonna lie. So let's have this, and let's see. It's at 80 AP. What the heck is going on here? Oh, we're out of ammo. Okay, let's spawn in a new Siege CRAM thing. New, brand new. Partner, and 30, and... Whoops. There we go. Let's see what this does. This video is already gone completely off the rails, and I'm sorry. So you might think that, alright, so this kinetic shell is going to be absolutely ridiculous. It's got 80 AP, which is not as high as CRAMs used to be. 21.91 seconds, so 186,000. What will this do to our friend the Kingstead, who is a lovely target because it's basically a big fat blob of armor and not much else? First, our friend the Marauder must turn around. Sorry, our friend the Siege Marauder. So I've messed around with pure kinetic CRAMs at very high gauges, and they're a little bit lackluster. And in fact, a pen depth is overkill for this. Like, you will never need this much kinetic damage or AP on a pen depth shell because it just is not really viable. So what's happened here? It has gone through. Where's it gone, actually? It has gone straight through and not actually done anything because Big Craft really don't like it. Yeah, it's very underwhelming. So for pure kinetic cam, blah, and it's just, yeah, not really worth bothering with. However, a pen depth gun like this, so let's go 10, 10, and let's go like this, 180, and let's find that fuse box, which is all the way on the other side. Time after first impact, set to 0.1. There we go. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so we got 66 AP still, we got 18,000 explosive damage, we got 27 fragments. And that's going in all directions. This is pretty good. It's so good, actually, that it's almost overkill. Like, this is... Like, unless you're shooting at something as big as a Kingstead, or bigger, this kind of thing is... almost feels like overkill, because that amount of kinetic damage will go through, like, tens of layers of metal. And there's no faction craft in the game that has armor like that, so... arguably, like, pen depth is overkill at this kind of gauge packing. You can still use it, because ye gods, it can still work. What did we just do? We just sailed straight through there and detonated somewhere not particularly helpful. So let's see what shot number 2 does. I'm loving playing around with Ninja's Siege Marauder, by the way. It's a fun thing. Does sink right in there. So yeah, like, this is a little bit underwhelming simply because there's too much kinetic damage. Most of it's actually wasted. Like, this kind of gun would be useful against something that has like 10 layers of metal on it. And most things in the game just do not have anything like that. Admittedly, we are getting right in there and doing some damage. But it's almost overkill to use kinetic CRAMs at this scale. They do really well at kind of large-ish to medium levels, simply because they can get... They do less damage overall, but they can get the damage to where it's most useful. It's like, well, it's like APS pen depth in that way. And so what's the other thing? EMP. EMP is magic with this kind of thing. Let's have just a smidge of HE and apply to cannon. I'm more fond of this automatic packing refit thing all the time. And let us get rid of that extra fuse because we do not need it. There we go. And now let's have something that is good to show off. Let's have the stockade. Let's see how many shots it takes to AI dead this thing. So EMP is not really something you should use as your main weapon, like ever. It's kind of... It's like a vitamin supplement for your weaponry. It's good at knocking off sensors, it's good at frying local weapon controllers. Occasionally you'll get lucky and you'll AI dead something, but I would not count on it. What it is really good for, especially if it's a really massive EMP jolt, is doing stuff like this. HE pellets for CRAMs are still vulnerable to EMP. They get destroyed by it. So, this is actually a great anti-CRAM cannon. And if we go here, you can see just how much EMP it is. In fact, darn it. It's too late. Let's see what happens. No! And boom. Well, that was depressing. Didn't quite manage it. Right, you shut up for a second. So the way EMP works in the game, just in brief, is that a single massive EMP jolt is more effective than a whole bunch of smaller ones because it can travel much, much further, and it can punch through protective drainage of blocks a lot better. So this does over 200,000 EMP damage, and so this can reach all around even reasonably large craft. We actually seem to have disabled something. Unfortunately, EMP also has a rotten habit of not delivering its payload. Like, that was a miss. But sometimes it'll hit something that isn't quite useful, so EMP is, like I said, it's like you add it as like the hint of spicy nutmeg to something. Did it just do it again? Nope, it knocked something off. It's kind of hit and miss, literally. And a craft like this is actually quite resistant to it, although we seem to have disabled it completely. Like, seriously, I don't know what's happening in here. Only 150 EMP damage. Fried some more stuff off. Where is the AI on this thing? It should be... There it is. Ah, see? We're gonna have trouble AI deading this thing because of the way it's built. It's got lots of air gaps in it. And EMP tends to run around the outside of things a lot. Assuming that we get lucky. It also has a rotten habit of when it hits a sub-object, it won't jump to the main vehicle. So, that's a bummer. So, EMP DoomCRAMs, I'm a little bit hesitant to recommend them fully. You might be better off just using EMP as flavor on something else. So, say a frag. Or something else. Because right there was no EMP damage simply because it didn't spread in time. Which is annoying. But actually, let's shoot at something that we're pretty much guaranteed to EMP dead in one shot. So, HE plus none. So now we're 100% EMP. And nothing else. And it's going to be ridinky-dink amounts of EMP. Bastion. Small things tend to be way more vulnerable to EMP, and small things are pretty much precisely what you don't need to shoot at with a DoomCRAM. Simply because, well, it's overkill. Like, sure, it can be fun, but you could have a smaller CRAM do exactly the same job. Let's see, are we... Oh, this is going to be beautiful. It's going to peg it right in the... Oh, hold on. Proper accuracy. Alright. As you were, madam. And yeah, that's AI deaded with one shot. Actually, AI deaded so fast that the scuttle settings kicked in instead. So that's the power of EMP. Against anything that doesn't have good EMP protection, you will fry it, and CRAMs can do a lot of EMP damage. So yeah, now it's time I stop waffling with the Siege Marauder and show you some of the DoomCRAMs I've made. There are quite a few unsuccessful attempts, but I reckon I've got the hang of it now. So, one of the things that I did find is that narrow-angle frag, and people have been telling me this for a while, and as usual, I'm a little bit slow to believe them, but, well, I just say as usual, sometimes I'm skeptical. But, in any case, so, DoomCRAM 4 is called that because this is the fourth one I've made, and it looks like this. And if you're wondering about what the heck this turret cap is, I was feeling like experimenting, and also because if you make a big turret, for demonstration purposes, and it's got a tiny wee turret cap on top, it just kind of looks weird. It looks like it's a pinhead. So, here is our first DoomCRAM. So, what is this thing? This is HE frag, mostly frag. So you see there, it's got over 500 pellets, 48 of which are HE, and all the rest, so almost 500, are fragmentation. Does about 36,000 fragmentation damage, 42 fragments, at a 23-degree angle. So this is a hole puncher, essentially, and the explosive damage is about 10,000, and that's mostly just for giggles. It also has a detection mast on top of it, simply because it looks a little bit weird. Pretty much a cheese wheel turret, this thing. And so it's got regular Tetris in here, so this is the standard diamond Tetris, which you probably can't see very well. You'll have to take my word for it. But yeah, this thing punches holes in pretty much anything. Because that narrow angle frag makes a beautiful penetrator. Like, 23 degrees is another magic angle, as it turns out. However, it does need to hit the target in order to do that preferred thing. Shall we try that again, sir? Try that again, please. And... kaboom. And... so what has happened here? What's happened here is that everything past the point of impact is gone. It's not there anymore. And that was 8% health shaved off in one shot. And in case you think that's happening just because this is the Marauder, let's spawn in the Alcazar again. So the Alcazar is fun to shoot at simply because it's so compartmentalized. So let's see, is this first shot going to hit? It'll be nice if it does. It's not, it's gonna miss by a mile. And, oh yeah, this shell has a lot of health. Let's see... you stop there for a second. Yeah, this turret is hollow, by the way. There's no particular reason for that. I just did it like that for reasons. So let's get back over here. Is this thing fully crammed? Yes, it has not quite as much health as seen before. This is a more restrained DoomCRAM, if there is DoomCRAM, if there is such a thing. Just shy of 40,000. That's still a lot, and it can still get through any lambs that is not really boss. Let's see what happens here, and let's track what happened here. So it hit here, and oh, hi. It's gone straight through the whole ship, so to speak. Damage there. Oh yeah, this particular kind of frag cram tends to blow off turrets on the opposite side of the ship it's shooting at. It's really magical. It's really awesome, and I really should put this thing on a ship of some kind. It isn't even... well, it doesn't feel that big. I've made a bigger one. We'll talk about that in a second. So when you fire it again, let's see, can you put holes straight through what is essentially an armored box? Yeah, especially if you do that. So this is where the turret used to be, frying things. Let's see. Ah, damn it. That was less dramatic. Alright, assuming direct control, we're going to put a round straight through the hull. Wait for it. I love the anticipation of crams. It's one of the reasons I like using them. It's just you wait for it, and here's the shell. Oh, yes, that looks good, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. And that was a miss, actually. And, we just destroyed the LAM system. Which is, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like, over 10 meters inside the ship. And we've just made Swiss cheese out of the hull. In fact, we've damaged, we have damaged the hull on the opposite side of it. So, this kind of narrow-angle frag cram is very, very good. In fact, at this gauge and at this kind of packing, I say this is better than Pen-Depth or time after first impact, simply because it hits the target, it puts multiple holes straight through it, completely ruins the day of most vital systems. Excuse you? What? It just bounced. No. Sorry, what? No. 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 It's got an inertial fuse. Why did you do that? Alright, let's try that again. This video is being full of surprises. I hate surprises in my videos. Yeah, so see what I mean? It's blown up a turret on the other side of this thing. That was a frag gun. Now it is sinking. So yeah, that is possibly the more restrained kind of Doom gun. This is a pretty practical Doom gun, as far as turreted ones go. It's even got little lumps on it, Onyx Watch style. Or pimples, I guess you could call them, if you're not feeling generous. But now it's time for the big guy. So, this is the DoomCRAM. Oh, where'd you go? There you went. That was weird. Alright, so this is a thing I call the DoomWaffle, because I showed this off on my Discord server. Yes, I have one, and you should totally join. We're awesome there. Simply because the top does look a little bit like a waffle iron. I wasn't going for that, but that's what we've ended up, because a big flat surface is a little bit boring, so we added some texture. This is similar to the last one. It is a high explosive fragmentation CRAM, but it's bigger. It is a lot bigger. In fact, if we look inside here, if you've seen my video on Super Crap Tetris, well, Super Crap Cram Tetris, rather. The colors in here might be a little bit familiar. Apologies to the colorblind. I forgot that green and red is a bit of a bad combination for this. Anyway, this is the exact same turret as, well, the exact same base of the turret as the 60-gun monstrosity I made for that video, except now it's just one gun. One massive gun with over, like, 1,200 pellet connections inside, 48 HE, like almost 1,200 fragmentation, 10,000 explosive damage, and 153,000 damage per fragment. 180 degrees, 53 fragments. And this is a timed fuse CRAM, so if we go find the fuse, which is here, it's got a laser targeter, and it's got a fusing box, inertial, time from launch. This thing doesn't need to hit you in order to hurt you. It's pretty awesome, actually, and I will demonstrate that with a big annoying thing. Where are you, Tier? There you are. So this kind of CRAM cannon is a little bit ridinky-dink, because it disables things shockingly easily. Like, it's not just that those fragments can get through thick armor, they can get through thick ships, full stop. Except when that happens. I hope that was just the time fuse going early, because if I've forgotten what kind of lambs this thing can get through, I'm gonna be very embarrassed. Hopefully it just used all its storage. Come on. This thing can do it. I know it can. I know it can do it. And... oh, look at that. We've, what have we done here just with that thing that didn't even hit the deck. It exploded on top of it. We just, disabled some of the large torpedoes back here. We've put lovely holes straight through it. And what else have we done? What else have we done? We've stripped off bits of the deck, and that's, yeah, we've knocked off 1% with one shot. With a craft that is almost 17,000 blocks. So let's see it again. And yes, the tier must be firing so we can see when the weapons get knocked out. Fire it again. Are you gonna make it? Yes. Yes, you are. What did that do, I wonder? Well, that went in here, and we've already exposed AI components. That was the second shot to hit, so to speak. And it's gotten all the way in here, and also, we appear to have severely damaged a steam engine that's like hidden behind multiple layers of metal. This kind of frag gun is oh my god. Yeah, we just knocked out one of the AIs with an airburst shell that exploded, like, not even directly on it, like, here, exploded above it. That's how strong these cram cannons are. They are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's look at the components falling out there. Yep, we've properly disabled the LAM system. I think we've knocked out a PID or two because the tier is now rolling over. Yeah, this is a very strong cram cannon. It is very, very strong. 180-degree cram frag, people. And there's a turret disabled just because. Lots of it. Yeah, those are heavy. Yes, those are heavy armor blocks just falling away, shredded by fragments. This might very well, or at least cram cannons can get the highest damage fragments in the entire game right now. I think the only thing that could even come close is large missiles, and even then, yeah, we just, what did we just do? We just knocked out a main gun of the tier. This thing is basically disabled now. You see what I mean about how easily it is to just cripple craft with something like this? The tier's at 93% health, and it's no longer, well, it's no longer capable of fighting. It's not firing most of its weapons. And there goes another main gun. We hit the turret cap, and the fragments went straight down and ruined the thing's life. And now she's listing. And in case you're wondering how much this thing, let's not miss any shots that this thing fires because it's just too good. So there's one, my first placeholder, now here's the second one. This thing is not as expensive as I'm used to, so... Well, it is very expensive, it's 93,000 materials for crying out loud, but if you compare that to some of the multi-barrel monstrosities I've made, that's a lot cheaper. That's 60-gun thing that I made in the last CRAM video, which you should totally watch, by the way. It'll make your day so much better, and also your CRAMs. Like, that thing I think was 200,000 materials, so this is less than half the cost, and it's crippled a tier in something like 3 or 4 shots. Which is magnificent. And now it's probably going to sink it. This is like... This is super powerful stuff, by the way. Come on, one more shot. Let's see if we can knock a turret or two off. Yeah, that'll do. So what did that do? That has... Yep, there goes an ammo compartment. And there goes multiple things. I think I can see that. Yep, I can see the seafloor straight through it. Well, this is where it got hurt earlier. Straight through, this thing is no longer seaworthy, to put it lightly. And what happened there? Even more stuff. Mostly empty, but it's okay. Assuming direct control. And let's go for right here. Wait, no, let's go for... Where is a nice turret block? Here, let's go for right here. What'll this do, I wonder? It'll miss horribly. You get the picture. So, you might be asking, BorderWise, have you actually stuck anything like this on a craft? I'm glad you asked. I have. And it's a bit of a lazy build, I have to admit. Let's spawn in something that's fun to shoot at. That isn't completely over the top. So we've got a bulwark, which is around 400,000 materials. Let's spawn in our 400,000 material thing. And let's make something that wouldn't have been possible. Well, not make something. Blurg. Let's show something that wouldn't have been possible. This is the CRAMbold. So, this is a kobold that I took. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You gotta spawn this guy close to the water, otherwise he just falls out of the sky. Don't ask me why, that's how he do. This is a kobold. Except I've replaced the APS on it with cram cannons. The same kind of cram cannons you've seen before, which is basically absolutely terrifying timed frag guns. And what happened there? Yeah, just vaporized a turret that was surrounded by heavy armor. No biggie. And also, let's see, I think it's also put holes... Yeah, it's put holes straight through the deck. So that's a layer of alloy and a layer of metal, and there's two... Yeah, that's 2 layers... Oh, no, that's 1 layer of metal, a propeller, and then another layer of metal. Just, you know, easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. These crams are strong. Like, they're so strong, I'm not sure how to demonstrate that strongness in the thumbnail. I think if I do... this? Nope. You see, these things missed, and they were still putting holes right through the side of this thing. Hang on. That one fragment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That just went through 5 layers of metal. And I think, yeah, that was just 1. Fire again. Fire again because I love you. And then once more for Daddy. Oh, I missed it. Nope, this might be the thumbnail. I'm doing that thing again, where I'm totally not setting up the thumbnail for this thing. So this is a DoomCRAM, and what's more, this is a CRAM front-sider. Couldn't really do that before, now you can. You might be wondering, is this stronger than the original CRAMbold? No it isn't, because the original CRAMbold that was packing really strong railguns and stuff was built from the ground up to be an APS front-sider. And this isn't quite as strong. This is just to demonstrate just how strong these DoomCRAMs can be. And they are very strong. We can't assume direct control. Maybe we'll come over here for the thumbnail. Come fire again. Yay! Yeah, this thing, these crams, or at least these oh my goodness, that looked painful. That exploded right in the... Oh my goodness. Let's see what components have been fried here. I see CRAM pellets, I see engine parts, I see... Oh, I see a turret. Which turret? Probably... Oh, it's so hard to decipher which turret got popped off because this thing has so many missing. And, yeah, so anything that relies on compartments to float has a really miserable day when these 180-degree time-fused doom guns show up, because those fragments go straight through most of them. Like that, for instance. This thing isn't even 80% and it's already sunk. It's too bad that the CRAMbold does not have torpedoes. Look at this. It's just all the way through the craft is just holes. These are Swiss cheese makers. Blessed be the cheese makers, and blessed be the Swiss cheese makers. And yeah, so that bulwark is going to take a very long time to drown, so... In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon if you like, it really helps. Thank you to all my current Patreon supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell!